Hello, I'm Graham Alder from B+LNZ Genetics. I'm the General Manager of the organisation. B+LNZ Genetics is a wholly owned subsidiary of B+LNZ New Zealand, and just like to give you an overview of the beef genetic strategy that we've developed in consultation over the last 18 months. Our vision is to develop genetics that enable a profitable New Zealand sheep and beef farming industry. The key thing is our purpose is to provide the information infrastructure that underpins enabling profitable genetics for New Zealand sheep and beef farmers. Our core role is to develop and promote national breeding objectives, run progeny tests in sheep. This is used to underpin the New Zealand genetic evaluation and carry out knowledge transfer, extension and further R&D. In beef, our progeny tests are there for R&D and as an extension exercise. Probably our main core function is to run a genetic evaluation known as SIL, which is changing over to improve. It currently provides breeding values for the sheep industry. We also do deer and about to do sheep milking. Another core aspect of BLG is to provide accredited information, and we'll integrate that information with Beef and Lamb New Zealand through their extension networks. We want to provide best practice accredited information. We currently provide guides to New Zealand sheep breeders and technical support as well. In terms of R&D, B+LNZ Genetics does R&D in collaboration with others. We currently work with Ag Research, Abacus Bio, Massey University, Otago University, and others in the research space. Looking at the main areas of research for beef that we're currently involved in, the beef progeny test, which I'm sure you've heard a lot about. We're up to our 5th joining. The dairy beef progeny test, that's now moved down to Wairaki. We're up to our 4th joining. The maternal cow project, which the analysis is just being done on at the moment, looking at condition score and cow size. And we've got the Trans-Tasman beef cow profitability project, which is an MDC, MLA Australia BLG project, looking at maternal traits in the temperate cow populations. When it comes to New Zealand beef genetics, there are many in this space, as you're well aware. We've got the breed societies, Breed Plan in Australia does the evaluation. We've got dairy AB companies, LIC, CRB, and ST Genetics who have recently entered the market. And of course there are unrecorded commercial suppliers that supply genetics, beef genetics into the industry. There has been limited sustained investment in beef genetics in New Zealand over the last 25 to 30 years, unlike sheep genetics, which has had several rounds of OBITA, and more recently this BLG program has been focused on sheep genetics, and the results in terms of genetic gain and performance of the New Zealand sheep flock are clear to see. The current BLG program in beef provides some foundation information, but the board felt it appropriate that we developed a long-term strategy for beef genetics that we're currently looking at getting funding for. Maternal productivity is the main opportunity, cow performance under fluctuating feed conditions that we get, ability to get in calf and ability to get in calf early, and the quality of that calf at weaning are really important. Efficient cows, condition score, feed efficiency, RFI, residual feed intake, in terms of maternal productivity are areas to look at. In terms of improved terminal performance, you've got beef cross dairy and dairy. Beef from dairy origin makes up about 70% of the beef exported from New Zealand. So here it's looking at growth rates, ability to finish and meat yield, along with the traits that dairy farmers are looking for in terms of gestation length and easy calving. Environment is a key focus for beef and lamb at the moment, and a focus for this government. That's 2050 targets. looking at greenhouse gas emissions. There's currently a MB partnership run by Dairy NZ looking at low-end cows in the dairy sector. Other opportunity is matching calves to markets or finishing systems, which ones should go into high reward systems, which calves are going to be of more value. And ultimately, the key opportunity is to really keep a focus on the consumer in terms of meat eating quality and meat attributes. There's been a lot of work done overseas, and there are breeders who are chasing this, and programs well established in New Zealand. There's still further opportunities with the consumer. In terms of technology opportunities with beef, there are a number available already, but there's others that are coming down the track. We've got AI that's been well used, and sexed semen being used somewhat overseas, with ST Genetics setting up in New Zealand, and CRV having some new technologies in this space. It's probably worth looking at how that can apply to the beef industry. DNA SNP chips, genomics, stud breeders are starting to widely use these, but with the cost of these and the power of these getting so much better, costs coming down, there's opportunities for commercial farmers to genotype, and that creates a huge resource for future evaluations. Car intelligence systems, the SCR collars from Allflex, and the local grown product, Halter, the startup company. That's another opportunity to collect a lot of information that could go into understanding cow performance and developing new traits. This is also underpinned by new analytic platforms that have come along. You've seen Farm IQ, which collects a lot of information on farm, and BLG is about to launch Improve, a new analytics tool for both stud breeders and commercial farmers. What's our aim with this? Well, our aim for the New Zealand beef industry is to be profitable, sustainable. We feel it needs to be complementary to sheep and dairy, and it needs to be transparent to the end consumer. That's with some of the early thinking behind developing this strategy. We want to maximise the contribution of the beef industry through the value chain to the end consumer, and the title that we've given our beef strategy is Better Cattle, Better Beef, and this will be delivered through 5 pillars, which I'd like to talk through now. The first pillar is developing an information infrastructure to collect data from multiple sources, having one infrastructure, one system, where initially all the BLG research data from our beef programs can be collected once and stored, and then data from other sources, whether it's the dairy AB companies or studs or commercial or processors, can be stored and used for either evaluations or for further research. The second pillar is to develop and collect more phenotypes, new phenotypes, greenhouse gas emissions, nitrogen, residual feed intake, as I mentioned, meat attributes, just not a marbling or IMF, looking at minerals and fatty acid content potentials, cow longevity and disease. Collecting information on these provide a better picture of what cow is going to be profitable and sustainable for New Zealand farmers. Pillar 3 is to collect more phenotypes on more animals. So the more information we get, the more accuracy there is around the evaluation, and we get better quality of information. So whether that's been from processor, commercial or dairy, opportunities there. Our fourth pillar is genomics at stud and commercial. Like I mentioned, stud breeders are moving into using genomics. This has become widespread in the stud industry overseas. I think Angus in the USA, they've just genotyped over 500,000 cattle already, and it's growing at 100,000 a year. With the cost, the opportunity is to actually genotype at the commercial level and provide effectively breeding values for commercial farmers on every individual animal, plus collect all that information back on those sire lines and provide much more accurate information on those sire lines in New Zealand farming conditions. The last piece is to future-proof the breeding strategy and look at what's appropriate for New Zealand farming conditions, whether it is crossbreed or multi-breed analysis as we have in sheep. Currently, the breed societies provide a purebred evaluation, and so researching into that, which are the breeding schemes that are going to provide the value for New Zealand in the years ahead. So that's kind of an overview of the BLG beef strategy, where we're looking to take genetics for beef in New Zealand. We're well underway. We've got a stake in the ground with our current beef program, but there's so much more to do. I thank you for your time, and please feel free to contact myself or BLG or Max Tweedy, our National Beef Genetics Manager, to ask any further questions that you have regarding our beef genetics strategy. Thank you.